3 steps to get a lot done, even if you're running on no or low sleep, especially if you're super busy supermom and you do not want your kids to pay the price because you would be yelling or snapping at them. How to do that? 1, catch that poor me story, not helpful. 2nd, take care of yourself. 3, eyes on the road, big picture view. Now, what? You crazy lady, you're not telling me anything new, or is that enough? Yes, that's going to be enough. That's all it takes if you rewire the generational stories in your nervous system that actually make you stop and get stuck on the first step, which is where I used to be. That's why everything I'm sharing with only with compassion, zero judgment. I used to feel like I was trapped and exhausted by my life over which I had little to no control. As long as you stay stuck on the step 1, you're not moving anywhere else. So if you want to get a lot done without feeling like an out of control, helpless victim of your life, even running on no sleep because your kids are sick or they are babies and toddlers and you don't want to go into any drastic cry it out kind of sleep training, or if because it's now the summer and it's so hot that you can't sleep anyways, whatever the reason is for your lack of sleep, this does not have to be the reason why you keep suffering through your life. So how to get it done specifically? The next episode of the Zen Supermom podcast is for you. Let's go. Hi, I'm Alena and I'm a mommy tantrum specialist because I used to be a specialist at yelling at my daughter and having uncontrollably angry mommy tantrums. So this was also one of the reasons, and that's why I want to do a podcast episode about it, the lack of sleep. I used to blame not just my full to-do list, but also the lack of sleep. I thought those were the reasons why I lacked the patience with my daughter. Because on nights when I could sleep better, or even, dare I say, well, that I had more patience, I was calmer, I was a nicer mom. However, if you're a mom of 1 or more kids, you know that you cannot always control all the circumstances and external conditions of our and our kids' lives. It will keep happening for you that there will be long or shorter periods of no sleep or very broken sleep. And your specific situation might be like whatever in between. You have a baby, you have a toddler, you're breastfeeding them or not, or they are on sleep schedule or not, you're traveling during holidays, their sleep schedule and routines go all over the place. Or even just like me, I have a preteen at home, so her sleep is okay, but my sleep got like messed up because of our family schedule. Like we had so many visitors coming days and nights in and out. There was a period of heat wave for the last 10 days when I was too hot. I could not sleep. I come from Czech Republic. We are not used to temperatures over 30 degrees. So that's why I woke up even this morning, because again, last night, even though the temperature got better, but I didn't get much sleep. And in the morning, there was a little part of me, a little voice thinking like, oh my gosh, and you're supposed to do a podcast episode today and you're going to have all this like, face. I heard that victim voice in my head again. Now, the difference is compared to 7, 8 years ago, I hear that voice, but I don't let that drive my day. Normally, if this happened, like those 7 years ago, I would go completely like, I would be shrinking. I would be like, okay, there's even no point in putting on my makeup and some clothes today. I'm just not going to do anything visible. I will keep grinding. I will keep looking into my to-do list. I will keep pushing myself as hard as I can. But too bad. And it's just like all this low mood and low energy. I would just like drag my feet and feel how heavy my life is for the rest of the day, and then just cross my fingers that I can get enough sleep the night after. Okay, that would normally used to be my energy. Now, how it works differently now, and what I was thinking about, like, okay, so if I would have to break it down into 3 steps for anybody, well, what would those steps be? What are the key points that I had to work through in order to get where I am today? And this is, by the way, not like to put myself on a pedestal and to say like, look how amazing I am. What a hyperachiever. I can just like push through anything. I'm sick. I don't sleep and I just get it done. Look at me, you weak moms. Like, Absolutely not. I learned my lessons about burned out as well. But this was one of my big aha moments when I was really started going deeper into my own generational healing, when I realized, yeah, all this suffering is not really necessary. Yes, life is tough. Like, no joke. I don't know how many hours on sleep, like how many hours of sleep you're running on, but this is also not a victim competition. But it can be tough, for sure. It can be tough, but the mental suffering is absolutely optional. And this is the message, and this is where I want to get you to on this podcast episode, and that's why I want to break it down into steps, okay? So I shared those steps already in the intro, but we need to go deeper because indeed there is much more to it than what the ear would catch on the first hear, okay? Step number 1, catch that poor me story. And this is really not to make fun of anybody or not to judge anyone who feels it's heavy. Your life might be objectively super heavy, yes? And we are not going to add shame to that. I'm not here to sleep train your kids. I'm not here to tell you to stop breastfeeding them in the night so that you can get more sleep. Like, those are completely your decisions. And I know from my own experience how annoying it is when somebody tries to give you advice about your life and what you should do about it and your parenting decisions, okay? That's why Zen Supermom is the first parenting podcast that's not about kids. It's all about moms. You're welcome. Your kids, your decision. You decide if you want to co-sleep, if you want to breastfeed, if you don't, if you want to go to work. And so then your kids' sleep might be affected by that as well. Your call. My job is to help you see that whatever you decide about your schedule and your family routines and setup, it does not have to mean that you become the sleepless zombie for the next however many years. You can still you can get more sleep done. Maybe some parts even of this generational blah blah even prevent you from sleeping. Maybe we can clean up even that. But my key intention here is not to change how much you sleep, but to change how you deal with it in the hours when you're awake. Yes? Let's go? Let's do it. So that's step number 1 with that victim. We need to realize where it's coming from. Have you ever felt, and these are some probing questions I'm going to ask you about your childhood. If you get triggered because there was some trauma in your childhood, you can leave right now. You have been warned, okay? But typically, the feeling like a victim, feeling like you're trapped, you're helpless, you're out of control, and so then you go into the mode, that's because of the childhood. There is something in the childhood that got tweaked there. And those would be my questions for you. How did you feel? Did you feel in control of your boundaries when you were little? Did you feel safe to express your emotions when you were little? And you might be sitting there like, what? What are you talking about, woman? Like, we are talking about here, I'm a mom, I don't have enough sleep, and you wanted to help me with that. And now you're asking me about my childhood, if I express my emotions in childhood? Yes, I am asking you. Because this is where it was going on specifically for me. When I started digging, I realized this learned helplessness, by the way, that's even a psychological term, learned helplessness. For me, it's going all the way back into my childhood because my parents were putting so much pressure on me and my performance, and I felt like, and on me managing my emotions, that I was punished, ridiculed, judged, criticized, and it was, if none of that, it was frowned upon if I complained, if I explained any dissatisfaction, any problem, any sadness, any struggle. The first reaction of my super busy super parents was like problem solving mode. Either they would completely dismiss it, like, oh girl, what are you talking about? This is nothing. Like, why are you making a drama about that? Come on, just like shut up and do it kind of thing. Or if it was something that they felt like, yes, it needs to be solved, they would just like quickly do it, or they would push me to do it again, so that they would not have to sit with my discomfort. But whatever reaction they had, it was basically like just quickly get it out of the way. so that we can be again in go, 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 sunny, shiny, happy people to the outside, beautiful family, nothing is happening, everything is going great, and mom like having too many things to do already by herself. So if I would put any problem on her to-do list, that was already too much. No, let's get it done. Oh, this is not a problem, let's go. Not blaming my mom. She did the best she could. I can imagine now. I have a lot of compassion for her now that I'm in her shoes. However, I also remember what impact it had on me when I was a kid. Because I felt like my emotions didn't matter. Nobody saw me until or unless I really had a big problem. Like if I got so hurt, I remember one day I fell on a pavement, they call it béton, concrete. Yeah, that was full of little dirty, tiny stones. I scraped my knee so badly. Sorry for being graphic. Warning. That those pieces of black stones got engraved, they got inside my knee. Okay, I was allowed to scream that day. Yes, I used it. I used the past. I remember screaming my head out because it was so painful. I don't remember many other days when I was allowed to express my emotions without being judged for it. Okay, and so what is the link with then me freaking out and feeling like a victim and self-sacrificing martyr when I became a mom? Can you start seeing that link? Yeah. I never had a healthy role model on how to properly manage my emotions, how to express them in a safe way, and how to use them to solve problems without swiping it under the carpet or dismissing it, like minimizing it or judging myself for it. I had no mental kind of like a template or blueprint in my nervous system on how to navigate through situations that are hard, that are not just push harder. Like I could not push harder. I was a hyperachiever. I was raised to be working harder than anybody else and pushing and trying to do more, better, faster, everything. But when I became a mom, this strategy of feeling worthy and significant and finally good enough, this strategy backfired because no matter how hard I tried to push through that lack of sleep, I could not. I was falling on my face like a zombie and then yelling at my daughter because I could not take it anymore. I don't have enough sleep. I don't have enough energy. I have too much to do. And instead of helping me, you're even making me slower and creating more problems. How dare you? And then I went into a full mommy tantrum mode. So why am I sharing all of this? Washing all of my childhood dirty laundry here publicly? Because I want you to know you're not alone. There's nothing wrong with you. There was nothing ever wrong with your parents. They did the best they could with what they knew. But let's be honest about it. They were not a healthy role model for you on how to manage stress and lack of sleep or pressure. Okay? Because if they were, you would not be sitting here spending your time watching podcast episodes about lack of sleep. Okay? That's the best proof, right? Now, how to change that? I would need more information from you about what exactly happened, because there are some women who, just like me, had a happy childhood, just like parents too busy and couldn't do better. There are some women who did have a trauma in their childhood, like related to abandonment issues, any kind of abuse or violence. Then there might be other like strategies will need to be deployed. But the first step, having the awareness and having the ability to actually pause whenever you hear that story in your head again about how trapped you are and poor me, start practicing creating space, like hearing that story in your head, acknowledging it, but then also saying, yes, this is a part of me, but that's not who I am. Yes, that story lives rent-free in my head for decades, and that's okay. Yes, it's tough. No, I didn't have enough sleep, but also I have the ability to choose. I am not that story. And there's something I can actually do about it. Only then you're ready for step 2. Step 2, taking care of yourself. And now you know, like, this is, I hated it, like all of these well-meant advice for new moms was like, just book a day at a spa, sleep when the baby sleeps, and take a massage, go to a hairdresser, blah, 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 blah. By taking care of yourself, I don't mean any of that. Well, if you do that, like, go, perfect, excellent, go, absolutely, yes, you deserve it. I'm not making fun of that, yes. But there's more. You've probably done that, and then you came home and started yelling all over again. So we know, I don't have to tell you, that doesn't work, that's not enough. What I mean by taking care of yourself is indeed starting to pay more attention to what's robbing you of your joy of actually enjoying your life in general as a mom. Because chances are, if you struggled with that step one, like with that poor me, it shows up even on the days when you did sleep well, doesn't it? Maybe it's not so loud, it's not so intense, because if you sleep well, everything feels a little bit lighter. But do you feel worthy of spending time making yourself happy? Or does it feel selfish? Do you feel confident to express your needs and wishes to others? Like, do you tell them how would you like to be treated or spoiled or pampered? Or even then further, do you feel okay to ask for help? Those are such juicy questions, I know. If I ask myself from 8 years ago, and no! I would hate this podcast episode. You're such a good sport, by the way. Celebrate right here, okay? Give yourself a pat on the back. Breathe through this. You're doing great, okay? If this was old me listening, I would be very mad. So you're doing great. Well done. You're doing already better than I did at the beginning. Well done. But this is what I mean about taking care of yourself. It's all about asking for help. It's all about realizing you're not just here to take care of other people and spoil other people. You're not here to feel responsible for making them happy. What would make you happy? What are the things that you could still do to relax, if we are talking specifically about situations when you don't have enough sleep? So are there any opportunities for you today how you could still get some energy back in any way? In a way that doesn't take more time or more money or anything that you're lacking right now. What could you do for yourself if you stopped feeling selfish? If you stopped feeling like you need to be the controlling, hyperachieving, perfectionist, people pleaser, and doing everything for everybody else just to feel good enough? What would become possible then? Because again, this is part of rewiring those generational patterns. That hyperachiever, controller, perfectionist, people pleaser, victim, like they're all very deeply ingrained in your nervous system. So I totally get it. There's a part of you who wishes, yes, I wish it was possible. But I can tell you, the moment you start rewiring that, and the first step to rewiring is realizing, oh shoot, it is there. I was not even aware. I thought that's what it is. That's what my life is. Well, nope. This part is optional. And that's what your nervous system is causing. That's how you are being your own obstacle. That's not to blame yourself or judge yourself, because that would be like adding more shame on top of the shame already. But this is where it was a hard pill to swallow for me, because a part of me really wanted to believe like, no, I cannot do anything else. This is what it is. And that was part of why I was getting stuck in this cycle, and lack of sleep was just part of the problem. Okay? Yes. So step 2, once you get deep enough underneath those generational patterns, once you realize where it's coming from and that it's not yours, you can hear these stories in your head, but they are not yours. Most likely they are your mom's, grandma's, auntie, or dad, whomever made you believe that was true. Once you start being more comfortable asking for help, more comfortable expressing what you need, more comfortable taking care of yourself without feeling selfish or guilty, second step, you will have less and less problems with that. And then you will be ready for a third step, which is like taking a breath, eyes on the road. In the big picture of things, if you would take a helicopter now, I know, like the one day, this very minute, it feels very intense. It can feel very heavy. If you take a big picture from high up and look at not just this hour, not just this day, not just this week, not just this month, but maybe this decade in which you are, what matters the most? I don't know. I don't know what your answer will be. There is no right or wrong. Or you cannot answer anything wrong, okay? That's up to you to say. But what is most important in this decade of your life, or your kid's life, or your family life? What do you want to remember? Let's imagine now, okay? Let's rewind. You're a 90-year-old grandma, 99 years. I'm going to give you 99 years, and you're still super cute. Like you're the cutest, happiest, best grandma, even grandma in the world. How do you look back at today, right here, right now? What would be the advice you would give the one today? What would you, as the 99-year-old grandma, tell the you today? Would you give her a hug? Would you like hug her over her head? What would be your message to the you today who did not sleep good at all? What is your life wisdom at that point? What matters the most? What matters the most on the days when you haven't slept enough? What should you focus on then? And what are maybe some opportunities that the you today doesn't see, but the 99-year-old super grandma who has seen it all, she lived it all, and she got on the other side and she's at peace. What advice would she have for you today? Maybe something she sees that you can't because you're too close. Yeah. So that's what I mean by the big picture. Okay? But you're not, that's exactly why I was like doing it in sequence of those 3 steps. That's why it needs to go through this order. Because like any of the beginning stories, they need to be gone in order for you to fully access that future vision of you who already knows. She already got to the other side. Maybe now she cannot sleep, but for different reasons than babies and toddlers or a hot night. Yeah. But she can laugh at it. She can just like, well, yeah, it is what it is. Now, how can we make the best out of today anyways? Yeah. That's how I'm feeling these days. That's why I'm doing this podcast episode for you today. Even I didn't sleep enough for the last 2 weeks, and that's okay. Because I know I'm not here to show up looking perfect, speaking perfectly, just to impress you, prove anything to anybody. Like, that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk to women who resonate with me for any reason, who might be right now where I was those 7-8 years ago, because I wish there was somebody who would tell me and who would give me at least a piece of hope that maybe, yes, I don't have to wait another 20 years for my daughter to grow up and get out of the house so that finally I can sleep whenever I want and do nothing whenever I want. But maybe I can start enjoying the life. You can start enjoying your life right now. Even before it changes, even before it gets better, even before you get more sleep. I'm not telling you to push harder. I'm not telling you to just like buckle up and burn out and put your to-do list, just like suck it up, buttercup, because that's what being mother is. It's tough, so just like go and push through anyways. Absolutely not. That would be some of those old generational patterns that maybe we grew up with, watching our moms to do that. Okay. We know better now. And if you're a mom, there's a chance your little ones are watching you right now. And maybe even if they don't understand everything you're going through, what they do understand very well and what you are wiring in their nervous system right now is how you show up. And that's not to put more pressure on you or shame you or judge you because they just watch you lose it in the last 2 weeks or more. No. That's just to show you how quickly things can turn around. and that taking care of yourself is actually not selfish. This is the most valuable thing you can do for your kids. So if there's any part of you who feels, this will be like this people pleaser generational pattern, there's any part of you that feels guilty for even wishing there could be something you could do for you, if there is any part of you feeling resentful, why are not other people helping me more and doing more while you don't actually ask for help? Then this is the reason why I want you to look underneath. Because you deserve it, and your kids deserve that you break this generational cycle before it imprints on them, and before I have to talk to them 20 years later because they'll be stuck in the same burnout cycle of no sleep and then everything else on top. Yes, that's why it's not selfish. That's why you deserve it. You're worth it. And that's why you're an amazing mom, because you're asking for help. You're looking for ways to get help. And that's why I know, yes, there is hope for you. And yes, it can be easier and faster than you think. So, what to do next? So many different ways. Where do I even start? One of the easiest ways is to check out our Mommy Tantrum Masterclass. That's where I go deeper in those generational patterns. All of this is also described in my book that you might see somewhere behind me. And dig into these podcast episodes. I'm now doing them in a written form as blog posts. If you don't want to keep listening for half an hour episodes, you can just quickly scan it and all of the past episodes. And audio, if you want to listen to me as you're washing dishes, folding laundry, or going for a walk with the dog. Or the video, if you want to see me and get more like intense in the connection and seeing my energy and watching me. Okay, so in whichever way it works for you. I'm here to help you. And so let me know if this episode gave you what you needed, maybe even if you didn't know that's what you needed. Take very good care, Supermom, and I will see you in the next episode of the Zen Supermom podcast. Bye.